Okay. Well, that's our intro, people. That's our new intro. How do you think? What do you think of that? It's great. We're starting off fucking
Beautiful.
fantastic. Anyways, everybody, welcome finally again, kind of, to our Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders review of the Clone Wars. This is actually the Clone Wars, the movie that started
Mhm.
off the series. So yeah, let's see what part two brings us. Let's
Well,
let's
this is
talk
pretty.
some.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting to me. So this is 5 years after the original 2003 animated series that we already went through all our reviews on.
Mm-hmm.
They completely changed the animation style, and in fact, it wasn't even meant to be a theatrical release at all. Except George Lucas, that is, I'm on first name basis.
I think we all know who you're talking about when you say George.
George Frankovitz. He screened like a couple of the episodes. And he thought they were so beautiful. He was like, "We got to do a theatrical release, so do it." And everyone was like, "Ah, shit! Now we got to fucking put extra effort into it and stuff." But they did. So I guess it's supposed to be like 4 different episodes. I think it's really like three basic episodes that are being put together. The first one being the siege of the planet Christophsis and the introduction of Ahsoka Tano as Anakin's Padawan. The second one is that they get this mission to go retrieve this Huttlet, Jabba the Hutt's son Rhoda, who's been kidnapped, and
Stinky.
yeah, and you learn of this plot to take control of outer rim trade routes between the separatists or the Republic, depending on who successfully brings back or tricks Jabba the Hutt more. And
Mhm.
then the final one is where the plot is unraveled by Princess Amidala and or Senator Amidala, and when they deliver the Huttlet to Jabba, ultimately through a lot of heartache and pain, it's finally revealed who the true sinister parties are, and everything is right with the world. So I'd like to, if we can, kind of break down some of our favorite moments in each of these, three story arc times, because there were some genuinely good Star Wars moments in all of them, I think.
That
What,
sounds like a good idea because
what
I
do you
totally
think?
watched it.
We're reversing
I mean,
now.
to be fair, it's only been like a month since I
Yeah.
watched it last. So you get it started.
Okay.
Let's get the old memory jogging.
Yeah. So my first note here, just mental note that I was taking, is getting to see the Clone War in action. When you actually see the siege of the planet Christophsis, you realize that these clones are completely, they're like droids, they're just disposable. And
Oh
they
yeah.
get fucked up, like bad too. Like it's not like this heroic Republic clone army is kicking the crap out of these walking tin cans. I mean, they're genuinely dying, and
Oh yeah.
that struck me as you know I grew up in an era where Saturday morning cartoons, no one ever died. Like people got
Hmm.
shot at. I don't even remember if like in GI Joe they were even ever shot. Like they were just shot at. And so no one actually ever, there was no real consequences. This leads you in with this film saying, no, 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 this is war. There are genuine consequences. And it
Oh yeah.
creates this tension between the responsibility of the Jedi generals over their troops and how much they
Hmm.
care about their troops, and contrasts that with the separatist generals and how little they have any concern for their droid troops.
Hmm.
And so you
Yeah.
have this really great dynamic, I thought.
Yeah, and it was definitely nice. It was very stark in contrast compared to the original, Clone Wars cartoons.
Yeah.
Because I mean, every time we see the clones taking on a battalion of droids, I mean, they just wipe them out. And with
Mm.
this, you get the actual shock of, oh fuck, people die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's just a
definitely
lot.
dug
There's
that.
a really great scene just to carry this theme through to its conclusion in my mind. There's a really great scene when Ahsoka and Anakin and Stinky had to get the fuck off Christophsis in order, or
Hmm.
not Christophsis, but the planet where, damn it, I don't have it in my notes here. Wherever this stupid. All right, Now I want to find it, but I can't.
It
See
was
my damn
Teth.
notes.
Teth.
Teth, thank you.
Yeah.
They were trying to get out
Sorry, I
Teth as
think
fast
about
as they could because they were going to be overwhelmed ultimately before Obi-Wan got there. And Anakin had to make this decision on whether he should go back and help his trooper or follow through with the mission. And you could see the sadness in his eyes on the realization that I have to leave my troops. Like, this is,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't leave people behind, but I have to in this situation. And, you know, his troops were, you know, gracious enough. Like, look, this is war. We understand what you have to do. You know, we all have our roles to play, and we're playing ours, so you go play yours. But for a character like Anakin Skywalker, who we know their ultimate end, to see them in this compassionate leadership role, I don't know. I thought it added a whole bunch of weight right from the beginning to let you know that this is Anakin when he genuinely cares. He's not the whiny little bitch before he becomes a Jedi Knight. This is after Episode 2. He is a Jedi Knight. He cares about his troopers, and he's doing what he can for the Republic, and that's great. We don't see that anywhere else.
No, definitely not, and especially not in the films.
Yeah.
Like, even in Revenge of the Sith, I mean, that's right after all of this takes place, and yeah, he's just, where, why can't I marry her? Where?
Right. And then I think probably the best part of that sort of second act, for me anyway, was getting to see Asajj Ventress again for the first time. So, of course, for everyone who watched the original Clone Wars animated series, we knew Asajj, you know, her rise and fall as Dooku's apprentice. They sort of rewrote the
alleged
script.
fall.
What's that?
Alleged fall.
Right. Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah, we see her fall, but I mean, fuck, the force powers. I mean, you can fall and not die.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's actually really true. And, you know, if there was any sort of connective tissue between that series and this series, it was made in the throwaway line that Obi-Wan Kenobi says to Asajj Ventress, saying, whenever I'm looking for Anakin, I find you. And
Yeah,
out
it
of
was,
the context,
it was a nice little tie-in.
yeah, it makes no sense out of context. But if you saw the earlier cartoons, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense then, because then there is this sort of history with this character that, you know, they haven't really developed yet in this very first freaking episode. Whoa,
Sorry about that.
rock and roll. Hey,
My phone was not on silent.
that brings me to another really great point. The music in this episode, in this movie, I thought was really great. Like, I had this soundtrack. I genuinely love it. It's like,
it's a great one.
it's like Star Wars,
It's
except
proper John Williams.
I mean, it's got the homages to, you know, the popular Star Wars stuff we know, but then it's also its own. You know, Kevin Kiner is the one that sort of composed some of the new tracks that weren't original themes by John Williams. And it's got, it ranges from like rock and roll during some of the battles to jazz, just straight jazz tracks, and like swing jazz tracks in some cases too, when you're in Zero the Hutt's lair. So just
God.
the span of music. Oh,
I gotta say, like, out of all of like this entire film, I mean, yeah, especially having seen it after I've seen the Clone Wars, like, there's a lot of the characters that I wasn't a huge fan of that I slowly started to love. Zero, fucking love Zero.
he's so dirty and grimy and bad that's why I think he's good. And I love the fact that
perfect.
For those of us who didn't know the reality of the, you know, physiology of the Hutts, it was really interesting seeing a Hutt, if not in its, you know, final transition, then in its, you know, transitional stage from one gender to another, because that's something that Hutts do, for those of you who may not know. And I just thought that was really interesting. It was very effeminate. It was very Southern. I mean, it could have been any number of Southern senators we have in our American Senate right now.
Definitely.
And I love that so much. But, you know, his score, his attitude, his voice, like everything about that character, his style, his tattoos, everything about him. Even his IG-88 droids had like special markings on them denoting, you know, Zero the Hutt property.
Yeah.
So damn cool.
Loved it.
Okay, so the battle between ultimately Anakin and Asajj Ventress get off that planet just as Obi-Wan Kenobi is coming down to, save the clones and hopefully save Anakin, but he's a little late for that. But he does have this really great duel with Asajj Ventress. And if there's anything greater than the speaking duel of any time Obi-Wan is dueling anyone, I don't know what it is. Like, he just has the best dialogue in these moments when you shouldn't be talking at all. He's just...
It's because that's his fighting style.
Yeah, he's just so polite, and it's the new lightsaber style of polite death or something like that. It's a new form. I mean, he's calling her what is it? It's like my darling or my dear. Like he's going like out on a limb formal with this woman who is just this vile Sith creation as far as he knows. And she's getting so goddamn pissed. He's so polite and still effective. It's so great.
Yeah, it's because he knows how to get into someone's psyche and just like completely mess with them.
Oh yeah.
So he does that so well. And it throws him off, and it does.
Well, it's great because there was these moments where they both had the upper hand at different times, and at no point was Kenobi sweating it. Like, even at the very beginning with the Battle of Christophsis, when the droid army was literally on top of them and then, like moments away from being destroyed, he's like, you know what? I'm going to delay and I'm just going to have a surrender party. It's like, no, have a seat.
That's so great.
Let's dictate the terms of our surrender. Do you have enough rations for our remaining soldiers? And he's like, what are you talking about? Out of your mind. And he's just
so beautiful,
super polite with that droid.
Like, general. But you can't do anything to me because we're surrendering. We're not at war anymore.
Oh man, it's just so good. Obi-Wan Kenobi is just one of the best damn characters in this entire series.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are some other notes here I've got? So really, the crux of this is the time that it takes to take this, hunk of junk vessel that they pretty much just scavenge off of this planet to get to Tatooine, and the character development, the interaction development between Ahsoka Tano and Anakin Skywalker. Do you think this was a little too heavy-handed with connecting or with any dissent? I mean, there's just Snips and Sky Guy back and forth. Like, how do you take that?
Oh God, it bothered the hell out of me. It was too much. Like, she was trying too hard to build a rapport with him before they even had a rapport. It drove me insane. I mean, of course, there's the moment where, they're stuck. It's just them versus everybody. And she drops the whole act. He drops his whole act, and they actually connect. At that point, then I will buy the stupid fucking names. And of course, before seeing this, I had no idea why her nickname was Snips. Like, I thought it was just stupid fucking nickname. And
turns out,
of course, I have a little bit more appreciation for it because it makes perfect sense. But, it was just too much.
It always drove me crazy. Just, I come from a military background, and so if one of my soldiers, and I'm only using soldier leader sort of back and forth, I would only imagine a master apprentice would be much more formal. But my soldiers would never call me nicknames like that. There's punishments for shit like that. You have to, keep a straight military bearing. And if you're literally, in this case, in war, and you're dissenting to your master, I don't know. I feel like he should have cut one of her little tendrils off and taught her a lesson.
Yeah, that seems that's a valid point. Especially because it's not just the whole military thing. Like, they're also religious zealots.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you wouldn't walk up to the Pope and be like, "What's up, robe homie?"
No, he'd probably, tell a bunch of priests that you're 12 years old or something.
Oh no, No. You need to examine this one. Yeah, all right. Let's move on.
Yes.
What did you think about oh fuck. Why can I not remember her damn name? Padme's C-3PO trying to contact Padme through her communication device, and there's just this stupid thing of her like, no, don't answer it, and then they answer it, and it's C-3PO, and that's how she can get out of the situation. Like, what did you think of that?
It was lazy.
It does seem that way to me too. Like, there's other ways they could have done it.
Yeah, it felt like, fuck, I don't know. I almost want to say rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they ran out of time, and we're like, oh shit, how do we wrap this up neatly? And then that was that. It's like, oh, we couldn't possibly track her any other way.
Right.
And then Goldenrod listens to her, and oh, okay, that's exactly where she is. Let's get her. It's just, that was.
Yeah, it was really frustrating simply because, for me anyway, not just the lazy aspect of it, but like it didn't give you any sense of Padme's personal abilities, her ability to get out of a situation. She was just saved by happenstance in this particular case. And I feel like she's a character that is this strong female leader that she, give her an extra 30 seconds and you can set up a sequence where she, like somehow gets it or triggers it from a distance, or, rather than... This is what drove me kind of crazy about this entire series and what it would lead into with all of the Clone Wars, and my really only biggest problem with it all. And that's that these droids are so fucking stupid. Like, episode 1 set them up as these mindless drones. Every once in a while there'd be a funny throwaway line. But this movie presented them as fucking dumb. Like, stupid dumb.
Yeah.
Like, they were leaning over cliffs and falling. And then their leader's like, come back here. Like, come on. Give me a break.
Well, okay. I don't know. Like, when it comes specifically to the B1 battle droids, like, I believe that shit because they were mindless. It was, once they went up in ranks and shit, they had extra programming, whatever. But, yeah, for it to be, like, 3PO, he fucking survives through the entire saga. Nobody can say that.
Yeah.
Except for, like, Chewie.
Maybe.
And Lando.
Maybe.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I was just listening to that today. I was like,
Yeah, that was heavy. I shouldn't have said any of that because I think I jinxed us.
I'm crying inside. Yeah, I don't know. I just think they do a disservice to the droids. Even I think the stupid battle droids, they don't have to be intelligent, but they don't have to be fucking retarded either. Like, they're just super slapsticky. It's like there's always a banana peel underneath them. I don't know. I just felt like
that's how they were in the movies too. So they at least stayed true to the character of them.
I feel like it went like a degree worse in this than the movies. I don't know. That was just my thought when I was watching. I was like, oh boy, is this? Maybe I'll watch episode 1 and again I'll just be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But for now, I'm just like,
the thing that did bother me too, like aside from of course it being lazy, was just the fact that, like, even in this series, like, we see her get out of some shit, and for everything to happen the way that it did, it was just like she can handle her shit. Just to go off what we were saying earlier with that, just wanted to throw that out there.
That's what drives me crazy. We've already have an established knowledge that she is a very effective individual. She was in a fucking arena fighting beasts alongside Anakin. She went in to save him. Like, it's not like she's helpless.
She saved some fucking Jedi.
I don't know. It feels like they went backward in a couple different places with character development. But for the sake of the show, whatever, they had to progress. They had to get, she had to find out about Zero and then report him to Jabba the Hutt in order to let the Republic win ultimately. But can I say how excited I was to watch, and the beautiful framing that was the Anakin Dooku duel. I just thought that was so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
The Tatooine.
Yeah, anytime you
sun
get to see
behind
Duke.
him.
Oh. Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. Like anytime you get to see Dooku fight anybody, I mean that's great. Plus having that, the scenery, it's gorgeous.
There was that, like a handful of scenes in this, like for example, just a sort of throwaway scene that I just thought was absolutely beautiful. There was Jawas sitting around a fire as Ahsoka and Anakin flew over them with their
Mhm.
ship, and it was just like, it was a B scene, a B sequence. It wasn't important to the plot. It was just sort of atmosphere, but the way it was lit. And you got to see these characters that you hadn't seen since A New Hope, basically. It was just
Mhm.
exciting to, I don't know, to see it all and realize that no, this is a thriving planet of desolation, but it still has
Mhm.
life and character, and people are still existing in it, all in just one tiny little scene. I just thought it was really great. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree.
Were you a little bummed we didn't get to see a Rancor at all?
Yeah, of course. I'm always bummed
Jabba's.
anytime there's not a Rancor or fucking Quack Monkey Lizard
Yeah,
or a
hey,
Wampa.
where is it Slice Noodle? No, it's Salacious Crumb. I said that before
Salacious
too.
Crumb. Slice Noodle, someone else.
Who the fuck is Slice Noodle? I know I've seen a Slice
Slice
Noodle.
Noodle's one of the band members.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Salacious Crumb. At what point does he hook up with Jabba? Why wasn't he there?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know how this timeline works because we do get in from a certain point of view, like where Salacious Crumb pops in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't
Interesting.
remember what the timeline was.
See, an aside story I would like to read. I'd like to know how Jabba and Salacious Crumb hook up.
Well, fuck, what? I swear to God, it's in from a certain point of view.
Were they hooked
I
up?
might have to read that again because, like, there's a story from the perspective of the basically mite that lives on Salacious Crumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's how he gets to work for Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, really? I thought it was just I thought
No,
it
it's
was from the
because
POV of the
oh, go
mite,
ahead.
right?
Yeah, yeah, but the mite's like wicked funny and tells Salacious all his jokes. And that's how he becomes famous for being a comedian, is because she's fucking hilarious.
Okay, I need to read that again.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it's a
forgot
good
all
one.
about that.
I
Okay.
loved that one.
Okay, so back to this review really
Yes.
quick. We're at the end here.
Back to the movie.
For the real weight of this was to get control or permission of those hyperspace lanes in the Outer Rim. Does the Republic ever use those again? Like, we're going to go through this whole series, and I'm sure we're going to run across it. But just through my memory, I don't recall that ever coming up as a plot point again.
No, I can't remember a single time that they go into Hut space.
And they're like, all they would need is one episode as a throwaway, being like, "Oh, it's a good thing we did this," and then suddenly the whole movie is paid off. But now, right
Yeah,
at this moment, I'm just like,
yeah. All
no.
they need is just a quick day trip to Nal Hutta to be like, yeah, we will buy 2 of those.
I would like 2 of your best slime frogs, please.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like there's no real reason for this entire show except to set up characters for a series.
Yeah, especially because like the Republic wasn't trying to win Jabba's favor so that they could get the Hutts on their side. It was solely just for the hyperspace lanes access that they control.
Yeah, I don't.
Because I mean, they admittedly were like, "No, we're never going to work with the criminal underground, but we won't be dicks to you."
Yeah, that seemed weird to me. It's just sort of
Yeah.
a throwaway for no reason. All right. Well, other than that, I had fun rewatching this film. I really, it's not even really a film, just this show. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the first time I saw it in the theater with my kids and my wife. I enjoyed it all the different times that I watch it. I think mostly for the music, because at this point I really don't like Ahsoka Tano. I've never liked her in this movie at all, ever. I think that the strength of this is in Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker,
Oh, of course.
and Count Asajj Ventress and Count Dooku. Like that's
Yeah.
what makes this for me.
Definitely.
Any closing thoughts on what you're looking forward to in the Clone Wars reviews or this film or anything?
I'm just honestly, I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching it again.
Mm-hmm.
It always seems like anytime that I sit down to go through the Clone Wars proper, it just I'll get maybe a season and a half in, and then I just stop for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to be forced to actually finish it, because I really did enjoy the series.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I'm holding a gun to his head so that he'll do these. I'm forcing him.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I don't want to, admit that I know that there's, nothing in the chamber and there's no bullets, but whatever.
It's
I
one
just
of
let
those
him play his
bang
part.
flags. Pops out, bang.
I love those things.
All right, everyone. That's going to do it for our episode review of the Clone Wars 2008 theatrical release. Next week is going to be Season 1, Episode 1. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one because I remember this episode very vividly in my mind. Yoda.
I don't. I didn't watch it that long ago.
Oh, really? Yoda. It's going to be good. All right. Until that episode review, everyone, may the Force be with you.
Insert witty comment here.